Hello, my friends. I'm okay. You don't like me. Do not comment. Don't subscribe at all. Please support me. I can make new stories for you.
Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a young man named Arun. He was known for his intelligence and charm, but he had one fatal flaw. He was incredibly greedy. Arun believed that wealth was the key to happiness, and he was willing to do anything to acquire it. One day, Arun heard about an old legend that spoke of a hidden treasure buried deep within the forest. The treasure was said to be vast, beyond imagination, enough to make anyone who found it the richest person in the world. However, the legend also warned that the treasure was cursed. Those who sought it out with greed in their hearts would suffer a terrible fate. Despite the warnings, Aaron's greed overwhelmed his sense of caution. He was determined to find the treasure, convinced that the curse was nothing more than a myth. Early the next morning, he set off into the forest, carrying only a map he had drawn from the fragments of the legend and a small bag of supplies. The forest was dark and thick with ancient trees. The path was treacherous, winding through thorny bushes and over steep hills. But Aaron pressed on, driven by visions of the unimaginable wealth that awaited him. After several days of travel, he finally arrived at a cave hidden deep within the forest, exactly where the legend said the treasure would be. The cave entrance was dark and foreboding, but Aaron, blinded by his greed, did not hesitate. He ventured inside, lighting his way with a torch. As he went deeper into the cave, the walls began to glimmer with gold dust, and Aaron's heart raced with excitement. At last, he reached a vast chamber where the treasure lay. Mountains of gold coins, sparkling jewels, and priceless artifacts piled high. Aaron was overcome with joy. He quickly began filling his pockets and bag with as much treasure as he could carry. But as he did, the cave began to rumble. The walls started to close in, and the floor began to crack beneath his feet. Panicking, Aaron tried to flee, but the more treasure he grabbed, the heavier his load became, and the slower he moved. The cave's entrance was getting narrower, and the rumbling grew louder. Realizing he couldn't escape with all the treasure, Aaron made a desperate choice. He dropped most of the gold and ran, but he refused to let go of a single large gem that he had clutched in his hand. Just as he reached the cave's mouth, the entrance collapsed, trapping his leg under a heavy rock. Arun was stuck, unable to move, and the gem he had held onto so tightly slipped from his grasp, falling into a deep crevice in the ground. As the days passed, Arun grew weaker, unable to free himself or call for help. The curse of the treasure had taken hold, and Arun realized too late that his greed had led him to this terrible fate. Eventually, the villagers noticed Arun's absence and went searching for him. They found the cave and managed to dig through the rubble, only to find Arun's lifeless body trapped under the rock. The tale of Arun's greed spread throughout the village, serving as a grim reminder that wealth gained through greed often comes at a great cost. And so the villagers would often tell the story of Arun to their children, teaching them that true happiness does not come from hoarding wealth, but from living a life of kindness, generosity, and contentment. For greed, as they learned from Arun's fate, is indeed a bad call. This story is meant to illustrate how greed can lead to one's downfall, emphasizing the importance of wisdom, caution, and the understanding that wealth alone does not bring true happiness. This story is meant to illustrate how greed can lead to one's downfall, emphasizing the importance of wisdom, caution, and the understanding that wealth alone does not bring true happiness.
Hello, my children. am your author Sand Angel. If you want to make any storybook of your choice, please subscribe me and write the name of the story in the comment. Next store will be of your choice.